guys, Nicolai here. Today we're talking about, bring that back? How about we do 2 loopy loops instead, and then right before leaving we go all around the screen, and then leave. Yeah, I like that. Everyone changes their mind from time to time. You, me, and even the developers of our favorite game, League of Legends. Let's keep the introduction short and jump right into the action with number 5, the Teemo dies stream. This is going to be a quick one, but it's a part of our game's history that I only recently learned, so I thought you guys would enjoy learning about it as well. Riot Games have been on top of their community's inside jokes and memes for as long as I can remember, and in 2013 Riot engineers from the St. Louis offices decided to work on a project for our little yordle friend, Teemo. But it wasn't a positive project. It was a non-stop stream of Teemos dying from actual live games. Every time a Teemo died in a live game, the stream would add that death to a queue of other Teemo deaths. And since Teemo is a fairly popular champion, they had a lot of content to work with. But of course, the title of this video is kind of a spoiler. Riot eventually decided that maybe having engineers and a server working on a stream of Teemo dying over and over isn't exactly the most productive thing. There actually wasn't any announcement of the stream being shut off or anything, just after a year of the stream being live, one day it just went offline. Forever. Teemo Dies is still up as an account, and it's actually verified with 6,000 followers and over 1 million total views. Unfortunately, Twitch deletes all VODs after a while, so there is no videos on their page, but the history still stands. Pour one out for the death of Teemo Dies one time. Alright, now if we're done grieving over Teemo, we can now move on to something a little bigger. Number 4 goes to League of Legends Supremacy. On October 13, 2013, Riot Games co-founder Mark Merrill was hacked. And on that day, the hacker was excited to share information that the outside world had no idea about. The hacker, who called himself Jason, but put God in brackets, started off his tweets on Mark's account by saying, "Well, I think this would be a good time to show off Riot's card game. Want to see pictures?" He proceeded to post this picture, which is the assumed login screen of the game he's talking about. This caught some people's attention, because prior to this incident there had been news of Riot making new trademarks for something called League of Legends Supremacy, so this was it. Jason followed that up by saying, "It's a standalone game. I have the server and a client source. Did I mention this game was fully completed but never released? Riot doesn't want you to play this game. Take it up with them." And to make his tweets more believable, he provided these images which he said were deck templates and icons. Jason posted more images, but all the content he uploaded has been long removed, so unfortunately this was all I could find. You're not missing too much though. But our boy Jason then goes on to make a threat to Mark by saying, "I am uploading a 200 megabyte file containing all the images of LoL supremacy," his typo not mine lads, "including the card images, unless Mark Merrill emails me not to." Well, this threat didn't last long because Mark ended up getting re-access to his Twitter account. As for League of Legends Supremacy, Mark said the images in question are old and experimental in nature, and not evidence of any game that was due for release. Basically, he confirmed that it was real, but just because it existed didn't mean it was meant to come out. Perhaps they made it, tested it, and it just didn't fit the picture. Also, this is in 2013, and this is just my personal guess, but this is around the time that Hearthstone was preparing to release, and maybe Riot was planning to compete, but then decided not to. We'll never know. Now, speaking of other games made by Riot, we bring ourselves to number 3, League of Legends Tower Defense. In July 1st of 2010, Riot Games came out with what they called a great way for players to continue enjoying League of Legends while on the go. Before we continue, I want to say this one almost didn't make the list because it's a technical mind change. Unlike the League of Legends card game, this game was actually released on iOS worldwide. I personally didn't get a chance to play this when it came out, but from reading old comments, a lot of people seem to mention this game was somewhat broken. Oh, and how rude of me. Let me show you some gameplay. Okay, not trying to be mean or anything, but that has to be the best combination of hype music and absolutely slow gameplay. But anyway, the reason League of Legends Tower Defense is on the list is because Riot kind of treated this as having a baby and forgetting it ever existed. They shortly stopped updating the game, never made a post saying they were going to stop supporting the game, and generally never mentioned its existence ever again. Kind of reminds me of the relationship I have with my dad, to be honest. Regardless, this isn't the only League game Riot has thrown out into the world as a one-time thing without support. We've had Astro Teemo, Blitzcrank Pro Roundup, and most recently Zig's Arcade Blast. But these were more polished and finished works, where the tower defense game looked like they could have done more with it, but decided it was fine how it was and just let it slowly fade out of people's memories. And actually, while we're on the topic of things we forgot about, do you remember this thing? Number 2 goes to the bounty banners. About 2 years ago now, Riot introduced the bounty banners, which were meant to be a way to easily recognize when an enemy or ally was carrying a big shutdown. Basically, the more kills you had in a row, the bigger the banner you would have. But in late 2017, Riot started revealing their new health bar changes. And honestly, I never saw anyone talk about the shutdown banner being missing. However, time went by and the new and improved health bars have been live now for a while. But our little shutdown indicator is still nowhere to be seen. And Riot has also never mentioned it ever again. Rest in peace to that little shutdown flag beside the health bars. And finally, for number 1, Riot has reworked many champions, including some that really needed it. And before doing all these reworks, they usually put something out on a blog post or PBE to let players know that a change is coming to their beloved champions. With that being said, Riot has a good track record of when these announcements come out, they don't change their minds.
He said it!
So number 1 goes to the Riven Edge rework. This was going to be a minor rework to Riven, or major depending if you're a big Riven player or not. The rework came out on PBE in September of 2015. And aside from all the small changes, the big main change was that Riven would now have her own system similar to other champions' rage bars. Kind of like a fighting game. Riven would have to fill up this bar, and then she would have a much stronger ultimate. Because instead of increasing damage based on missing health, like it does now, Riven's ult would now consume all edge on use and increase in damage based on how much edge she had. But like everything else in the video, Riot never mentioned this again either. It was shortly removed from PvE and Riven stayed just the way she was. But alright guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Now as always, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more in the future, click or tap my face to subscribe. And if you want to watch one of my past videos, click or tap the video to the right. But most of all, thanks for watching. Peace.